All right, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Friday, January 12th, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it today. So markets today, pretty boring Friday. So we did have a gap up on the PPI. So that came in a little softer than expected, which helped out markets. And you're going to see here, if we take a look at the spiders, basically gapped up into this kind of double top here, pseudo triple top. I call it a pseudo triple top because we hit it twice in the last 2 days. But, we gapped right into this area, got a slight higher high, and a little bit of a fade. Same exact playbook as yesterday, right? Gap up, fade into the lunch hour, buy program, volume is light. January effect, right? Give the market the upside bias, give the buy the dippers the upside bias, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. Same thing, volume light, little chop fest, and then just a algorithmic buy program here. Little minor sell, and now we're just kind of floating back up here as we get towards the end of the day. We've closed in the same area now 3 days in a row. So if we take a look at the cash S&P, which is I like 47.83. 47.80. Today we're at 47.81 right now. So again, flat the last 3 days. Right now, this is still, technically speaking, still at face value bullish consolidation, right? You're just in a choppy range above the moving averages. We tested the 20 yesterday, and I'm generally just kind of biased towards a crack of that all-time high at this point. So they could do that on Tuesday, early next week. We do have OpEx for the month of January. Lots of premium expiring. So there's going to be a lot of games going on next week. The only thing that would kind of throw a wrench into this is we're going into a 3-day weekend, and there's tensions heating up big time. Yemen, there's bombs being dropped there now. The Red Sea is blocked off, and if that escalates, obviously that could cause some the markets to get spooked over a 3-day weekend. But right now, I'm still by the dip biased here until I'm not, and we're the window is getting tighter and tighter here for the bulls, but they still have time on the clock. So, anyways, market's flat. Let's not make too much out of today's price action here. We'll give the upside bias. By the way, we finally hit 4,800. We've been trying to hit it for 3 weeks. They got close 47.93, then they got 47.98.50. We finally hit it, pierced it by 2 cents or two points on the SPX rather. But we still have yet to slice that all-time high. I think that happens. But either way, markets are holding up. Triple Qs here. Again, fractionally positive on the day. Do they make a new all-time high? It's possible. Get a little double top there, potentially at 413. Would be interesting if we slice double top at the same time that the SPX is hitting this area. So that could be something to watch there. But again, Qs really quiet. Market was anemic. Russell 2000 down 0.25%. It was interesting, though. This was actually... Take a look here. This was up like almost 1.5% on the open this morning, and that was actually leading the market. So this was gapped up more than everything else. In fact, the Dow is actually weak. UNH earnings obviously weighing down on the Dow there, but the Russell 2000 was pretty strong. Kind of a gap and crap there though. So definitely on the weaker side. I don't really like this pattern. So if we look at the RTY, it's a little bit cleaner. I think you can see, but that's a bear flag, right? So this might need to zigzag down on the Russell here. The positive here is that you could make a case, okay, we were just weekly overbought and we're pulling back, but that daily definitely looks a little bit softer. So I'd be careful with the Russell right now. I wouldn't do anything with it until I would say at least like 186, 187, right in that area. Then there's a ton of support around 179, 180, but obviously that would be the next level after that. The diamond here down 35 basis points. UNH down big, down 4% on earnings. So a little lower low there, lower high. So that's a negative for UNH. Still a lot of support around 510 for this name, but that did drag down the Dow, and the diamond is down 33 basis points as we currently speak. Again, if this does push up, I would say about 380 would be your next kind of natural area there for the diamond. Let's just quick talk bank earnings here. So JPM, very, very top heavy here. A little bit of a gap and crap there. I missed this one. I wish I had seen this earlier, but that would have been a disgusting Bollinger Band play there. on the for a day trade. We sliced through that band, never opened up, and that came all the way down to the 20. So that would have been a really nice play there. But yeah, bank earnings, banks definitely looking a little top heavy here. BAC rolling over. It did get a little bid there off of the gap fill. Wells Fargo losing that bullish structure, so now failed inside bar pattern there on Wells. Be careful with that one. Citigroup is still holding up here, so that is up 1.1. So that's kind of the leader of the bunch today. Goldman is still holding form, and Morgan Stanley is still holding form here. So a little bit of a mixed bag, but some of them definitely looking very top heavy. I would be very careful with Wells. If you own JPM, I would look to take profits here and at least trail a stop. We also had Delta earnings as well. I'm glad I got out of this one earlier this week. Pretty good breakdown there for Delta. That's probably headed down to I would say 36, maybe 36.50 here. All right, let's get over to the semis. SMH here down 58 cents on the day. Nothing terrible. You're above the moving averages. There's no real problems with this currently. Same thing with the SOX. This could still have a little zigzag up. Then you have your resistance right there at gap fill. Pretty clear as day. And then 4,200 whole round number. IGV. This thing just continues to chug higher, up another $1.25. Did this make new 52-week highs today? 410.59. Nope, just missed by about 15 cents. So slight, basically a pseudo double top there for IGV. But nice little rally there. And this still remains strong. I mean, this is green today, even with the rest of the market kind of flat to lower. So again, IGV still on the strong side here. I think CrowdStrike was up again. Okay, it was up earlier and then came back down. But incredible moves for some of these cloud companies. All right, so let's look at the transports here. So again, transport's still on the weaker side. This looks like it wants to do a zigzag down. You got a bear flag starting to form on the daily. Still a lot of support at 14.2, but it's becoming more minor here the more we consolidate. So just be aware of that. You still got the 200, you got the 100, so there's a lot. This is where you broke out as well. So there's even a lot of support around 15, but 15.2 starting to get a little bit weaker, and where I'm getting that from is this, obviously this breakout bar with the test, intraday test. There's going to be buyers in there, but if this builds up enough energy, it can break through that. So just be aware, the longer you consolidate, the more minor these levels can become. All right, let's get over to interest rates. So a lot going on here in bond land. So again, continuing the yield curve continuing to uninvert here. There's the 210s down just 20 basis points now. It's almost to parity. It's only a stone's throw away. And we have a Fed meeting at the end of the month. Maybe it gets up there right around that time. Maybe that's a catalyst to get it through there. Could be something that they say, something to keep an eye on. However, 2s and 10s, 5s and 30s, 10s and 30s are uninverting or have uninverted. The 3-month is not budging. So you can take a look here at the 3-month. That is in a straight line, and that has not moved. So 3-month 10-year is still inverted by 141 basis points. So a little bit of weakness in that one, but the 2s and 10s are coming back to normal, back to parity. There you see the 2-year. Again, we talked about 4.15. That's where it stopped today. 5-year, basically right at double bottom. That could still go a little bit lower. 10 starting to back off. Again, I would love for it to get down to 370. And you see the 30 strong. So the 30-year has this is a tight bull flag here. That looks the strongest out of all the yields here. And again, if you're new to the channel, I'm not bearish. I'm actually pretty bullish yields going into Q1. They may have a little bit more backing and filling to do, but I'm not seeing much more downside here. And if we skip over to the dollar here, you can see that pattern is very strong as well. I think that's getting ready to go probably next week. So if that inches up and starts to push up towards 104, I think that will take yields with it. All right, XHB here. So XHB down 84 cents, nothing terrible. It's holding trend here, but pretty good outside candle here today. Well, not really outside candle, but kind of a gap and crap candle. We did find some support at the lows of yesterday, though. And again, yeah, it's below the 20 moving average, but I mean, what, by a couple pennies? Not really a big deal here. This is still strong. If I see a sell signal on it, I'll let you know. But right now, we do not have that yet. VNQ, again, still in a range here. Nothing terrible with this one yet. If it rolls over, look at 84 and that 50 MA. XLF, this is looking very top heavy. So again, been talking about 38 and a quarter It can still happen, but it's starting to get that rolling top look, very much like the Dow. Uh, got that kind of, like a high, slight higher high, that type of deal. So I would be very careful with fins here, specifically XLF, Wells Fargo, and JP Morgan. But nothing to say we can't get one more little last gasp. But this is looking really top heavy up here. It looks like it's ready for a correction. KRE, definitely on the softer side. Still not a terrible pattern here, like a pullback pattern. If it gets going, it can still get up into this range here, but kind of running out of time here, right? Like it needs to start happening here sooner rather than later. Same thing with KBE. Still has support around 44, or should. Again, that was your big breakdown level there, and we'll see if that gets back checked too. If we break through that, 42 and change, there's your 50 moving average as well. Broker dealers here also pulling back today, so XBD on the pullback here. So again, high, lower, low. And again, 520 was your previous all-time high. You can see that right there, big weekly level. Maybe even a little bit below that, 500, 510. There's all those various intervals right in that area, but 520 would be your first level on XBD. Crude here was a little interesting. So again, keeps pumping up on this Red Sea stuff, on the more geopolitical stuff going on. There's a lot of shorts in here, but that 75 handle is just so stubborn. We got outside of this little wedge this morning. I said, uh-oh, like the shorts better get control out of this. Otherwise, if this pullback ends up in a higher high, it's going to squeeze up to 80, and they got control of it. So the crude bears live to fight another day, I guess. But this is, I'm neutral on it until it figures out what it wants to do. My guess is it's breaking up, but I could be wrong on that. Again, I'm not betting on it. I'm not putting my money down, but that would just be my hunch here. I think there's too much geopolitical stuff going on, and if we have any sort of escalation, there's going to be a lot of shorts covering. So we'll see if maybe they get control of it and they spike it down. But oil still up 1% on the day on the futures, and it did pull back in. Anyways, XLE, Green Day up 1% as well. Nothing to do with that one. XOP holding that trend line. So again, maybe that trend line holds up there, up 1.3%. And then the OIH, I'm still looking for one more drop in that, but I do think that is getting attractive. All right, big breakout sector, CCJ here. These guys are reporting they can't even meet production, and you're just seeing, this just taking off. So we said $50 would be your next kind of natural resistance, and it got to 51.22 and pulled back. This is just the stock that will never quit. So this is the new. They should just add this to the Magnificent Seven at this point. But going into all these pivots from '07, it's I don't know what to tell you. It's parabolic. You got a double top up there. You've got some pivots right here. But FOMO, whatever you want to call it, chasing, when that takes in, you can go higher. But right now it is pulling back off of the highs and into the 50 handle. One thing I have been very explicit on is I've been saying URNM is a good pattern to buy. So hopefully some of you guys are picking that up. This is just free, giving this out for free. Bullish in sidebar, right? What kind of pattern is that, right? Trend is up. Look at the moving averages, nice spacing. What do I always say on here? 20 moving average catch up to price should act as fuel. So there's an 8% move in one day, and it's up probably 20% in the last 4. So big move there for the URNM, and these uranium plays are acting really well. I can't chase them up here, but if you own them, you can ride them. Just trail your stop. All right, and nat gas here also acting well. So again, energy is starting to really take off here in all forms. Oil, not so much yet, but I feel like it could. But nat gas up another 8.5 on the front contract. Again, 360 is your big level there. I'd like to see it consolidate. I don't know if it will. It's nat gas. We know it doesn't. It doesn't have to consolidate. Sometimes it just does what uranium's doing right now. But if you get through this, it's up to 4, and then honestly up to 5. So those are really your big level. Like, you didn't build any resistance on this way down, so there's nothing to say it can't go up there. If it starts to break out. All right, we talked about the dollar already, but again, bullish in sidebar there until proven otherwise. If that starts to push up, it'll get it to 104, 104.35. Gold here up with the dollar again. Lots of geopolitical stuff going on though, so that does make a little bit of sense that they'd be up together. We'll see. We're going into an OPEX week. Sometimes gold gets hit. We'll see how that works. If the dollar starts to really break out, I would think the gold will pull back. Sorry if that was really loud. That was loud even on my end. And gold here up 1 point. I know you guys always complain about that. Gold up 1.6, and we'll look for this trend line. If it starts to break down, if it pushes up here, well, then it's on breakout. All right, silver here, that had a nice recovery today, so it was in danger of breaking down yesterday. And it did pop right back up 2.7. You still have a bearish inside bar here, and you can make a case that you retested this trend line. So that's your negative. Your positive is you're still holding this green bar here. You close below that, then it's going down to 22, maybe even 21.50. I would like for that to happen. If it does, I'll probably be buying it. Platinum here, continuing lower, but that's into my level now. So right around 915, 910. If you're wondering where I'm getting that from, it's just a 618. Retrace. So right into that level. So we'll see if that holds up going into next week. Palladium getting close to double bottom as well. I think that'll probably get there, maybe even early next week. Copper here pulling back as well. So slicing through that trend line. Didn't even really back test it. I don't even really love that trend line, honestly. But again, holding this green bar here, if you get through that, I'd have to work on levels. I haven't done much levels here on the downside, but the bigger picture, this can still go lower. I would say right now, probably just 370 would be your next level, and then around 365. All right, so Bitcoin, maybe it's finally a sell the news here. So yesterday I said it's not really a sell the news yet because all you're doing is pulling back inside of yesterday's range. But you are close to that green bar low. If you close below that, that would be a negative. And the weekly, this is what I say, we're close to a sell the news. That is a pretty good reversal candle so far. Again, it doesn't mean we can't bounce up tomorrow by Sunday night. But pretty good tail candle there on Bitcoin. So it's going to be important here to be firm. So what you don't want to see, if you're bullish, you don't want to see follow through to the downside. You just want to see tight. Like, just stay firm up here and guess what? Let the 20 moving average catch up to price, right? You don't want to go down and meet the 20 moving average. You want the 20 moving average to come to you. That signals that it's just consolidating and building strength. But if this follows through to the downside, then we can finally talk about correction. And we'd be looking at, you got 38, and then, the monster levels down 32, or, 30 to 32.5 would be your monster level there for Bitcoin. Ether's still holding up off of, it is pulling back, but it's holding up off of the, now Ether's getting the ETF hype. So that is pulling back in. Some of the ones I've been watching, Cardano and Matic, still looking good here. On the bigger time frames, but Bitcoin definitely followed through to the downside here, but at least on the daily. But again, no real damage, right? We haven't been below the 50 MA since October. Actually, on a closing basis, since September. So it's not like, let's not get too excited about the downside yet. But if you get follow through and you start doing damage, you get through 42, excuse me. Then we can talk about, okay, well, now you just wiped out all of this trading here and made a lower low. Now we're onto something here with follow through. But until then, the weekly pattern is still technically okay. Just watch for that big tail candle there. All right, so markets closed here, and again, right. So we closed up 32 cents on the spiders. Nothing to make a ton out of. And we'll see what we get going into next week. I would give the market the upside bias here a little bit longer. I think they'll want to try and at least test that all-time high. We're so close to it right now. It's like a magnet. We've just been kind of basing right here. We'll see if they do that early next week. Anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. We'll talk to you guys all next Tuesday.